Hello, welcome to JIBRIN Angle on Owoleke TV. My name is JIBRIN, and this is my angle. Once again, thank you for joining us on this day, on this episode of my angle. As we shall be discussing with Barrister Austin Manta, who is technically my co-host on this show at this moment, at this time. We shall be talking about several topics that borders the Nigerian polity and current affairs generally. Barrister, thank you once again for joining us.
Thank you for having me.
Okay, for those of you who don't know Barrister Manta, Barrister Austin Manta is a very, very senior legal practitioner of over 40 years in practice. He is a principal partner of AA Manta and Co. Their office, his office located in Kaduna and Abuja, respectively. All right, let's go straight to the point, Manta. And again, let me clarify this because so many people have been, I don't know why people keep making this mistake to understand that this is a podcast. It's an opinion show. It is not an interview session. Barrister Manta and I are just we are fellow discussants. This is a show where both of us just air our view. I'm not interviewing Manta. Okay, technically so, but Manta is open to equally ask me questions. Just that I don't know why Manta doesn't even do that, but he is equally. I'm equally open to Manta asking me questions. So it's a kind of something with just a discussing show. That's why it's called podcast. So people, you guys should stop this illiterate criticism. I have always said I've always replied to this on the at the comment section, but people kept doing the same thing. And don't come here and tell me how to run this show. Whether I interrupt Barrister Manta or not, it is none of your business. That is how I run my show. It is no one's business. So stop all those nonsense. And just if you want to watch, if you are interested in watching the show, go ahead and watch the show. If you are not, just get off my platform. Thank you so much. All right. Let's go straight to the point, Barrister. Let me play this video, and I will come back to talk about the content. All right. Before I play this content, it's a little bit long. It's about 5 minutes. I don't know if we'll watch because there are some things he said towards the end that I really need us to listen to or watch and hear, so we can talk about that as well. All right. Let's go.
All right. So Dangote Group. Do you people remember this girl, the 22-year-old fresh graduate from Federal University of Agriculture in Abeokuta, a 22-year-old that was involved in an accident with one of your reckless, unlicensed truck drivers. Now, as a result of the accident, her hand was cut out. She was amputated. You people went to their house. You took a picture of the girl. That you wanted to take care of the girl. After snapping that picture, you never came back again. You left that girl like that for her parents. Medical bills was paid by her parents. And you just abandoned the girl like that. This is a girl that her parents saw through school. From primary school, they paid money. Secondary school, welfare, treatment, hospital bills, including feeding. That this girl will grow up to be somebody tomorrow and come back in the future to take care of them. It's like sowing a seed. When I crushed the girl dream, they cut the girl hand. Took the picture to do Ojuaye. You took the picture, posted it on the paper and everything, that you come back, but you never came back again. That was the end. And now the girl have no hand. You have abandoned her. Because I see when I go drop press release for Fina Matter, because of the people where they involved. How about Olurotimi Precious? When is she going to get her own justice? How about Olurotimi Precious? I don't leave her like that. I'm also going to try and write to you people. I will write to you in respect to this girl. You will also have to compensate her. You have crushed her dream. You don't crush that dream. Without her hands, what can she do? You have crushed her dream. And this is how you have crushed the dream of a lot of Nigerians. You have been getting away with this. We'll write to you. Like I said, we can't take Dangote to court. Who are we to take Dangote to court? Aliko Dangote, you won't carry Dangote group of company go court. How? How are we going to do that? You obviously win. We are talking about that your drivers are not licensed with proof. Your drivers are not licensed. You give young people just because they can move a truck when I don't carry motor give them.
All right, Barrister will continue, but let me ask you, as a lawyer, I don't get it. Dangote's drivers are not, some of them, let's use that word because we have to be realistic. It means Dangote's drivers are not, some of the Dangote's drivers are not licensed. Dangote's company is the biggest company. That name, Dangote, is the biggest name in Nigeria and even in Africa. How come they don't have a standard? Why would they be employing a driver in any form or shape, or drivers who are not licensed? Barrister, can you briefly just talk about that so we can continue with this video?
Very, very, very surprised if that statement is correct. If it is true that the driver in question was not licensed, because Dangote is such a huge company, and the transportation sector is such a huge thing that is, and it's well organized to my knowledge.
Yeah, of course.
It's very difficult for me to say at this point that the drivers are not licensed. I happen to know because I was involved in
not all. It should be what I'm saying. Let's be clear.
No,
let me clarify that.
The point of entry into driving for Dangote is what I'm trying to
of
drive
course.
at.
Yeah, of course.
Because it's one of the requirements that they look for before you are employed.
But you had VDM. Hold on. This is for those of you who obviously I don't think there's anyone who don't know VDM right at this point. Verydarkman is someone who don't just go on air and do things. He does things with proof. If you see him coming on air to defend anybody or whatever, or say anything or criticize anybody, he comes with receipts. He speaks with receipts, all the receipts. So if he said he has proof for him to do this, because Dangote can actually, like he said, nobody can take him to court. Dangote can bring him down. So if he's saying anything or doing anything that is not, that does not have proof, he knows the repercussion. And this has been his antecedent. This has been his record. VDM talks with, he speaks with receipts in his hands. So if he said so, it means that if he said he has proof, he has proof. Barrister, please continue.
Well, let's not go into that because we need to hear from Dangote to confirm if the driver does not have or is not a licensed driver.
Okay. Let's continue.
Secondly, if the driver is not a licensed driver, the accident will take a whole new dimension in terms of liability.
Yeah,
the first is even a criminal offense first and foremost to drive a vehicle, an ordinary vehicle, not to talk of driving an articulated vehicle such as the Dangote trucks without being licensed. That will be the starting point, and that will turn into liability for the company for injuries that the person, the accidental person, was subjected to.
We'll come back to that, Barrister. Let's continue with this video, but because I don't need to hear from Dangote for I believe because I've been following VDM for a very long time. I believe VDM more than I believe Dangote. Whatever they come, they will send their PR team to kind of clean up and say all manner of things, whatever. So I agree. I believe VDM more than Dangote. If he said he has proof, he has proofs, because this has been his VDM's antecedent. This is on record. He has been very, 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 very factual when he does whatever he does. Let's continue.
This is happening. Road safety never talk. VI will never talk. These are people that are in charge of inspecting vehicles on the road. How Dangote vehicle passes you people every day without license? Is it that you people don't check it? How these people are able to drive on our roads without license? I can never understand. Government are not saying anything. Of course, it is Dangote. Why they go talk now? Now, rich man now. This Dangote truck on our some roads where they're not supposed to pass. They spoil roads. You could just carry truck. A truck as big as that, you could just carry and give Tom, Dick, and Harry. Anybody could just enter road. Endangering the lives of Nigerians. You don't care. So long say they deliver your goods. All you care about is your money. You don't care about the lives of people. It's not your concern. It's not your business. And if these things happen, that's all for the person. Una go live in a truck for road. Sometimes you see Dangote truck on the road, you will think that this truck are under repairs. No! One drunk, reckless, unlicensed driver, don't buy person, leave the truck, go. And they have been doing this for years. This is the first time you are dropping a statement. Because of course, the people involved, media power day. And the way the thing is going, you don't like it. Because of your reputation. This is the first time you're dropping a press release. You never do it. Only now with cheat. Only now with cheat. Now don't buy people. I'm just sharing now that a woman with 5 kids, that's all that buy all the children.
Wow.
And all of this underground on the media. Nobody they hear her. Of course, it is Aliko Dangote. Like I said, I can't fight you. Even this talk while they talk safe. A guy will talk and reach now, and I'll just put something for my head. Police can't carry me because this is the country we are in. They feel look for one thing, carry me, but the main agenda now because of say they talk against Dangote, of course. But this killing have to stop by your reckless, unlicensed driver. I will emphasize on unlicensed because that driver will do that one for Auchi Polytechnic. You don't get license. See you don't go give this thing. But again, please, sir, Dangote Group. I'm going to send a message to you in respect of Olurotimi Precious, a 22-year-old girl, fresh graduate from university, that was involved in an accident with one of your unlicensed truck drivers. You left her like that. You promised to do something. You never did anything about it. When I crush her dream, I'm going to leave her. And for some reason, I don't know why it's always university students or fresh graduates. For some reason, most of the cases now, people they coming from Kogi State. If you see what Dangote just the kiki students. This is how it's so now. So different people don't send me message. 2 years ago, 5 years ago, my department is at Dangote trailer. When they go down Uchi, have to look for a solution. We must look for a solution about this. But justice for Olurotimi Precious.
All right, barrister. Dangote, we all have been a very strong critic of Dangote over the years. And I'm still very, very critical of the company and himself. Now you just had the end of that. That end is what is more interesting to me. Why students? Actually, I've read so many of Dangote's. Dangote has been a man. The truth is that Dangote trailers have been and drivers have been a menace to Nigerian roads. To the Nigerian roads, you and I know that Dangote has been that name Dangote has been a kind of a negative impression in the society in Nigeria. The drivers are reckless. The drivers don't care. They are arrogant on the road. The drivers are wicked and evil. The drivers are so selfish. In some time, so many years ago, you see that Dangote drivers can deliberately. I have come face to face with Dangote's trailer in those days, in the past. They were supposed to actually give you, they don't care. The Dangote trailer, if you are either they are trying to overtake, they can come face to face with you and they will not give you way. They don't care what happens. So if you have to find your way, if you will come face to, even when they are on the wrong lane, if you come face to face, when they are overtaking, you come face to face with them, they don't care. They are not pulling back to their lane. They will continue. You have to find your level. You find your way. So Dangote trailers have been a menace to the system. Now you had this. Why is it? Because I've heard about these Dangote drivers actually crushing students. Why students? What is going on here? And why is Dangote's trailer? We have other accidents happening with other trailers, but Dangote trailers is it is so common to hear Dangote trailers crushing people on the road. You heard the one he talked about, crushing an entire family, mother and children, 3 or 4 kids. Why is government not doing something about Dangote? And he talked about nobody can do whatever. Can do anything to him. Not even okay. Towards the end, he talked about even Tinubu, the president cannot do anything. Nobody can do anything to whatever. Who said so? A powerful man is stronger than a rich man. Because if I have power and I have authority, I can you that is a rich man, I can crumble your business with my policies. If Tinubu can turn Dangote he is the richest man in Africa, right? He can actually turn him to to the bottom, to put him on at the bottom list of the richest men. So I rather have the power to change situation than to have the money. There are people who have both, but in this case, yes, even Tinubu have both. He has the money. I can bet you, barrister. Okay, arguably, because some of this is just like Vladimir Putin. When they talk of richest men in the world, Elon Musk, the richest man, worth almost $400 billion. I bet you, I keep telling people, there are so many people that their wealth are not on record. They are not recorded. That are that are richer than Elon Musk. And so we have the same situation. I will not be surprised. Don't be surprised that Tinubu is richer than Dangote. There are people in Nigeria who are richer than Dangote, that their money, their wealth is not on record. So this issue of Dangote is too powerful to whatever. I don't get it. Why can't the government call Dangote to order? Barrister.
Thank you very much. It is good to bring this kind of things to public attention so that public awareness and the awareness of the authorities can be brought to bear on the situation. But let us put it in perspective. Dangote has hundreds, if not thousands of trucks.
Sorry to cut you short. I forgot the latest one, another one, because Verydarkman brought this story because of the new one that happened. The one
yes,
celebrity.
I was going to mention.
Yes, please mention that. Go ahead.
The FINA issue.
Correct.
So, why it is good to bring it into focus for public attention and the attention of the authorities, we must also put it into focus. Dangote has thousands, if hundreds or thousands of trucks,
of course,
supplying Nigeria, supplying essential commodities every day. Now, I do not agree with Verydarkman that nothing can happen to Dangote or that he cannot be sued. That is obviously not true. The problem is that, number one, we have a very conservative society, and number two, we have a very conservative judiciary. In most tribes in Nigeria, the very idea of taking somebody to court when somebody has died or blood has been shed in this thing, people will say they don't want anything to do with blood money. And then these are cemented by statements like this from Verydarkman that you cannot fight Dangote. Other people hearing, poor people hearing, they'll say, if that is the case, let me just, nobody can fight. You cannot cement an idea that is false, that is not true. There is what is called exemplary and punitive damages in court. If this character that is being portrayed as of recklessness, not just of a particular driver, but of several drivers,
correct,
of not having license, if these issues can be brought together, and that is why some of these public advocates or public commentators or agitators, it's good for them not just to talk, but to assemble a variety of evidence that we can put together and take to court that this is not an isolated incident. It is a characteristic of the company. It is this, and ask for punitive or what we call exemplary damages. Yeah. Now, these damages are not awarded on the basis of a particular instance, but they are awarded to be punitive. In other words, the court goes to look at the turnover of the company as a whole. Because if you give even 1 billion naira damages against Dangote, it may not even affect his business. It will not even concern him. So when you are talking about punitive or exemplary damages, you look at the profit margin, the balance sheet of the company or the enterprise, and give the kind of damages that will really affect that enterprise. That is what is called punitive. It is available in our laws. The problem is the laziness and the lack of cohesive approach. You are not having people putting together these incidences and the dynamics of the recklessness that is happening. Let's put together 1, 2, 3, 4 incidents of this and show code that it is the characteristics of the company to have unlicensed drivers, to have reckless drivers, not to train their drivers properly, so that we can bring it to bear in a particular case like the one that VDM is talking. And then ask the court to punish, not just to award damages for the lady, but to punish the company for their dereliction of duty. If you have that piece of evidence, believe me, I can assure you that you can get some form of justice in the court. You can sue Dangote. People have sued Dangote. They have got judgment against him. It is not true that you cannot fight him. You can fight him. This, even at a point, let me tell you, it's just one part of Dangote's vast empire. And we have managing director, GMs, at the level that they deal with it. Some of these things may not even reach to him as a person.
Yeah, but he hears it.
Of course, by reading and
yes, of course,
the public decision, it will come to his attention. And like the one that VDM was referring to, Fina's case, I think the sister was also similarly involved in the accident. In that case, it's even worse than this one.
Yes,
because
the leg, her feet. Yes,
the leg has been amputated, and the threat of amputating the other leg as well.
Wow.
The latest I heard as of yesterday is that they are considering amputating the other leg as well. Now, Dangote has come up, the group has come up to issue a press release and said they are going to take care of all the expenses, they are going to compensate, they are going to do this, do that for her. That was as of yesterday. So, I don't know why this case that Verydarkman mentioned, which appeared to have happened much earlier than
yes,
that case, did not receive the public attention, was not brought. I have not heard of that one. If it's not for Verydarkman, I would not have heard of it. There is need for public advocacy groups to put these things out in the public, because even the idea of bad publicity alone makes the companies to react and to respond to issues. But if they are settled quietly, because most of the accidents involving Dangote's company are settled quietly under the radar without the public knowing about it, without the security agencies knowing about it. It is the responsibility of our civil rights activists, of public advocacy group to collect these instances, to present a common front, to present an idea that this is how this company is being run. Because you cannot judge the whole behavior of the company with one incident alone. So that is the task that the Verydarkman and even the rest of us have before us. Having said that, we must also recognize that Dangote is doing a service to the economy. He is transporting goods and services, essential commodities, making it available to every corner in Nigeria. So I should not like us to rush to judgment, but we should have constructive and standard evidence that we can present to show a pattern of behavior, which will now bring down severe punishment on them.